Let me tell you what nobody says out loud. Some of the most dangerous seasons of your life do not look dramatic. They look ordinary. You still get up, still answer people, still go to work, still smile when needed, still say, I'm good, still move through the day. But deep inside, you feel like your life is taking too long, and that feeling, if you do not confront it, will start rewriting your identity. Not all at once, quietly. You start looking at your life like a delayed flight, a missed turn, a failed launch, a story that should have happened by now, and then the thought shows up. Not loud, not dramatic, just dangerous. Maybe I'm behind. And if that thought sits long enough, it evolves. Maybe I missed my moment, then deeper. Maybe other people have something I don't, then deeper still. Maybe this is all I'm ever going to be. That is how people lose themselves, not always through tragedy, through interpretation, through misreading the season. Listen to me carefully. A slow season is expensive when you call it failure, because the moment you label the process as proof against you, you stop cooperating with your own growth. You stop building with confidence. You start dragging yourself through life, second-guessing, comparing, rushing, forcing, panicking. And the tragedy is this: you are trying to escape a season that may be building the very strength you've been praying for. Pause there, because that changes the whole conversation. What if the reason this season feels so uncomfortable is not because your life is off track, but because something in you is being developed that cannot be built in comfort? What if this is not punishment? What if this is preparation with poor lighting? That is what a lot of people do not understand. They think if a season is unclear, it must be unproductive. If it is quiet, it must be empty. If it is slow, it must be wrong. No. Some seasons are not meant to be bright. Some seasons are dark rooms. And if you know anything about a dark room, you know this. The image is developing, but not in public, not in applause, not in noise, not in instant proof, in darkness. That is where certain things become visible. That is where depth is formed. That is where substance grows. That is where the person you keep asking God for is slowly being introduced to pressure, not to crush you, to reveal you. Let me say it another way. There is a version of you you cannot meet in comfort. There is a voice in you that only shows up when life gets quiet enough for you to hear what still needs healing. There is a strength in you that does not appear when everything is easy. It appears when the timeline disappoints you, and you keep building anyway. That is rare. That is powerful. That is the kind of strength most people want the results of, but do not want the process that creates it. Because let's be honest, most people do not break in chaos. They break in slowness. They break when effort is not immediately rewarded. They break when nobody notices growth. They break when the seed disappears into dirt and the dirt looks like nothing is happening. That's where belief gets tested. Not when life is dramatic, when life is quiet, when you're doing the right things and the visible evidence is late, when you are showing up and the harvest is still hiding, when you are trying to stay disciplined and your emotions are not helping, when you are becoming but you do not yet look like what you are becoming. That middle space is where many people betray themselves, because the mind hates unfinished pictures. The ego hates delay. The flesh hates obscurity. Pride hates process. We want the full image now. We want confirmation now. We want the open door now. We want the visible fruit now. We want the announcement, the arrival, the proof. But life does not always develop in public. And if you cannot survive hidden seasons, you will sabotage visible ones. That is one of the great laws of growth. If you cannot handle being unseen, you will mishandle being seen. If you cannot keep working in silence, you will not know what to do with influence. If you cannot build without applause, you will become addicted to applause the moment it comes. So sometimes the quiet season is not denial, it is detox. A detox from external validation, a detox from comparison, a detox from speed addiction, a detox from shallow ambition, a detox from the need to be impressive before you are ready. Because some people do not need a platform yet, they need depth. Some people do not need exposure yet, they need roots. Some people do not need acceleration yet, they need alignment. And alignment is not flashy, it is internal. It is the slow work of becoming congruent, your habits matching your goals, your character matching your calling, your discipline matching your desire, your internal life matching the future you keep asking for. That work is holy. That work is hard, and that work usually happens in the dark. Here's the pattern interrupt. Just because it's taking longer doesn't mean it's dying. Read that in your spirit. Fruit takes time. Steel takes fire. Depth takes pressure. Roots take darkness. So why do we panic every time life goes underground? Why do we assume unseen means absent? Why do we treat delay like disrespect? Why do we call the process failure just because it doesn't flatter our ego? I'll tell you why. Because visible progress comforts us. It gives us proof. It gives us status. It gives us something to point to. But invisible progress, that demands faith. That demands maturity. That demands internal stability. Invisible progress forces you to answer a hard question. Can you keep becoming without constant evidence? That is the question. Can you keep writing when no one is reading yet? Can you keep building when no one is clapping yet? Can you keep healing when no one sees the internal battles you are winning? Can you keep honoring your process when comparison keeps screaming that other people are farther ahead? Because comparison is loud in dark seasons. It shows you everybody else's highlight reel while you are standing in your own workshop surrounded by dust, delay, and unfinished pieces. And if you are not careful, you will misread your workshop as a graveyard. But this is not where your life is buried. This is where it is being assembled, slowly, carefully, intentionally. This piece here, patience, that piece there, self-control, that one, discernment, that one, emotional stability, that one, consistency without attention, that one, the ability to endure silence without inventing a negative story. Do you understand how valuable that is? Because a lot of people are not destroyed by failure. They are destroyed by the story they tell while waiting. They say, it's not happening. I'm not enough. It's too late. I'm wasting time. I should be farther. Maybe I missed it. And those thoughts do not just affect mood, they affect movement. A person who thinks they are falling behind starts moving with desperation. A desperate person makes poor decisions. They force relationships, force timing, force opportunities, force identity, force visibility. Why? Because they are not building from peace. They are building from panic, and panic always wants shortcuts. But shortcuts often take you to places your character cannot sustain. That is why seeds of thought matters, because a seed does not argue with the season. A seed does not demand fruit in winter. A seed does not curse the soil because it feels buried. It understands a law many people have forgotten. Buried is not the same as abandoned. That will preach all by itself. Buried is not abandoned. Hidden is not rejected. Unseen is not insignificant. Delayed is not dead. And unfinished is not failed. You may be in a buried season, a dark season, a quiet season, a beneath the surface season. But beneath the surface is where roots learn their assignment. And roots matter, because what rises in public can only stand if something grew in private. A tall tree with shallow roots is one storm away from exposure. So maybe this season is not trying to make you impressive. Maybe it is trying to make you stable. And stability is underrated. Everybody wants fast. Few people value durable. Everybody wants momentum. Few people value mastery. Everybody wants growth. Few people want pruning. But pruning is not cruelty. Pruning is preparation for greater fruit. And some of what you lost, some of what slowed down, some of what got stripped away may not have been life attacking you. It may have been life simplifying you, removing noise, removing dependency, removing illusion, removing versions of you that could not go where you are headed. That doesn't mean it felt good. It means pain and purpose sometimes share the same room. Now let me talk to the person who feels emotionally exhausted. Because slow seasons can make you tired in a very particular way, not just physically, soul tired, tired of trying, tired of resetting, tired of hoping, tired of beginning again, tired of carrying potential with no visible proof. That kind of exhaustion can distort your vision. It can make growth look absent when it is actually happening quietly. So let me remind you what progress often looks like before it becomes visible. It looks like saying no faster. It looks like recovering quicker. It looks like not texting what you used to text. It looks like not returning to what once broke you. It looks like staying with the work longer. It looks like fewer emotional crashes. It looks like stronger boundaries. It looks like less need for approval. It looks like more peace in silence. It looks like discipline that no one posts, that counts, that matters. That is not nothing. That is construction. And construction is not pretty in the middle. It is noisy, dusty, incomplete, inconvenient. But nobody walks onto a construction site and says, this will never become anything, just because the final shape is not visible yet. They understand process. So why don't you give your own life the same grace you give a building? Why do you demand full completion from a version of yourself that is still being framed? Be careful how you speak in unfinished seasons, because words can either water the process or poison it. Stop saying, I'm behind. Say, I'm under development. Stop saying, nothing is happening. Say, some things only grow in hidden places. Stop saying, I'm stuck. Say, I may be in a season where roots matter more than leaves. That shift is not denial. It is wisdom. It keeps you from turning against yourself in the very season where self-trust must be rebuilt. And here is the final turn. One day, the same season that tempted you to doubt yourself will become the evidence that you can survive more than you thought. One day you will look back and realize, the dark room gave me focus. The silence gave me depth. The delay gave me endurance. The hidden season gave me roots. The slow season taught me how to build without applause. The hard season taught me how to keep my soul steady when life didn't move on my schedule. And that version of you, that version will be dangerous in the best way. Not loud, not reckless, not performative, rooted, calm, clear, hard to manipulate, hard to rush, hard to discourage, because when a person has learned how to survive the dark room, they stop panicking every time life goes quiet. They know development is still happening. So if you're in a slow season right now, hear me clearly. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not disqualified. You are not failing, because the image is still developing. You may be in the dark room. And if you are, do not run from it too early. Let it finish its work. Because what comes out of the dark room often carries a clarity it could not have gained in the light. If this message hit something real in you, do not scroll past it like it was just inspiration. Sit with it. Ask yourself, what if this season is not empty? What if this silence is not punishment? What if I am not behind? What if I am being developed in ways I cannot yet see? And if that resonates, stay with this channel. Because this is not a place for empty hype. This is a place for roots, for depth, for discipline, for identity, for people who are tired of mistaking pressure for proof against them. You don't need a louder life right now. You may need a deeper one. And sometimes the deepest work happens where almost nobody can see it.